Alright, this is Real Talk, episode 37. For those of you that are unaware, my Real Talk videos are just me talking about whatever I want to talk about, pretty much. I'll have a general topic in the description or in the title of the video so you guys can get an idea of what I'm going to hit on, but I can go in any direction pretty much, so just be aware of that. I have a Patreon. If you want to support that, that would be great. I want to thank the patrons that I do have. I really appreciate you. And without further ado, I'm going to get started. So, as you guys are aware, if you've been following me or watching my channel, whatever, I've been gone for, 3 months now? And I've just been focusing on my life, my personal life, myself. And, yeah, life is crazy. That's all I can say. Every time I think I have a plan of what I'm going to do, something takes me in a different direction than what I had planned, and then I have to reassess and reevaluate and regroup and basically rethink everything and start over, right? And that's what it feels like. And it's crazy that, I have to do this at this stage of my life, but that's life. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that goes through this, right? So I want to get to a more consistent point where I'm just doing a routine, but it's very difficult. When I was in the military, it was easy, right? You get up in the morning, you go do your PT, you go to work, come back home, blah blah blah. It was always the same thing. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was gonna do, but that's not how the civilian world works, and it's different. It just depends on your life. If you're working, you gotta, depending on the job, whether it's full time, part time, whatever, you gotta figure out your life according to that. And if not, then you gotta do whatever else you can do, right, to make money and get by. That's how the world works. But anyways, enough of that crap. So let's get started on the world. Kim Goguen, things you guys want to hear about, right? Things you guys want me to talk about. I'll talk a little bit about the direction of the channel. I'm going to make a whole video on that because I want you guys to understand what I want to do. I've always had ideas. I've always told you guys. I've been pretty straightforward and said, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do that. I'll say this. I'm into playing video games. That's something that's my pastime. That's my passion, whatever. That's what I like to do for fun. It gets me away from all this crazy shit that's going on. All this stupid shit that's going on in the world. That's what I like to do. I like talking to people, but I only like talking about the truth, right? If you don't talk about the truth and you tell me something that's stupid or ignorant, I don't want to talk to you. That's how I am. I don't like talking about normal everyday bullshit like how's your family, how are the kids, how's it. I don't want to talk about that shit. Like, it's boring to me, right? I want to talk about real shit. That's just how I am. However, I'm not completely, I guess, cold-hearted or unempathetic. I understand people have lives, and sometimes people just want to talk about nonsense, right? And whatever, I can do that too. I can do whatever. But for the most part, that's what I like to do. So that's why I made this channel, right? Because I want to talk about the truth. I don't want to talk about nonsense. And when I do my live streams, I do those live streams so I can talk to the viewers or the subs, right? The people that are watching me. That's the whole point of the live streams. I tried to start them up again a few months ago, and people would watch, but nobody was speaking. Like, very few people would say anything. And I felt like it was pointless for me to do that. Granted, maybe if I keep doing it more consistently, and this is part of me trying to get on some kind of routine, right? If I do it more consistently, then maybe more people will show up. More people will feel comfortable talking to me. Maybe people watch my videos and they feel I'm unapproachable. But if you watch my live streams, for the most part, unless you say something really stupid, you can talk to me about whatever. That's how I'm pretty approachable, believe it or not. Even though in most of my videos I seem, and I'm not going to lie, I am antisocial, but that doesn't mean I can't talk to people, right? I live in a world, in a human body, where you have to socialize to get by. That's just the name of the game. You can't live in or on this planet and not be social to some degree. And when I want to be, I can be, right? But when I'm talking about the truth, I'm not looking for a social conversation for the most part. I'm just speaking facts, right? I'm just saying what I know to be the truth. And that's how I work. But as far as the channel, the direction of the channel, like I said, I'm going to make a whole separate video talking about that. But to give you guys a little preview or whatever about what I'm planning on doing, I want to do more reaction videos. And as I said earlier, I like to play video games, right? So I want to do a mix of, I have a separate gaming channel, and I didn't want to mix my gaming channel with my Real Truth channel, because I felt like the people that watch me for the Real Truth, they're probably not going to be so interested in the gaming channel. However, I did say many times that me making that gaming channel, I was still going to be the same person. It's not like I was going to sit there and talk about whatever game I would be playing. That's just a pastime, right? But I would, be playing a game or whatever to give you guys something to look at. And we could still talk about the truth, right? And that's what I really want to do. That's what I really want to do. But as far as this channel is concerned, I want to do more react channel. I want to do more reactions, right? I want to react to people's content. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I see a lot of people, and I've talked about some people on this channel, that they pretend like they're these truth bearers or these real people out there trying to speak the truth, or they stand for the truth or whatever. And they're not. They're fake, phony bitches. That's the nicest way I can put it. And I'll give you guys an example of that. Someone like Trump, right? And Trump is not somebody I care too much about until the 2016 election. I started to pay attention to him. I knew who he was, right? Everyone knew who the fuck Donald Trump was. But I never really fucking paid attention to the guy that much. I just knew he had a couple of shows, you're fired, you're hired, whatever the fuck his show was, right? And I was like, oh, he's kind of funny, whatever. He seemed like a genuine dude, good dude, whatever. I didn't really care about him. But then when I saw all this shit happening in the 2016 election, I was like, man, these people really hate this motherfucker. And I never really cared about politics in general. But when I saw what was happening with Trump, I was like, wow, these people really either hate him or love him. Like, he's really polarizing people. So I felt like I had to start paying attention, right? And then I started to see how fake everything really was. Because up until that point, I still had some delusion or false belief that the world has some kind of genuine aspect to it, right? I was like, the world's not as fake as I think it is, right? Right? We're not really living in a fake video game world, which is why I play video games, right? Because everything is a fucking game. We're in a simulation. It's all fake. But I was like, it's not really that fake, is it? It's not so fake to the point where they're just blatantly being fake in front of everyone's face, and people are still eating this shit up. People are still going with it. So when I saw how gullible, stupid, ignorant 99% of humanity was, I was like, wow, I'm in some real shit. Because I'm one of the few, if not the only person I know that's willing to speak the real truth and not give a fuck what anybody else thinks about me. And yet I basically, you know how they say, because I've had people say this to me, and when they say this, I'm like, these people don't even know what the fuck they're saying. They're like, it's not everyone against you. It's not the world against you. I'm like, yeah, the fuck it is. Because I like to speak the real truth. And guess what? Whenever I do that, most people don't want to hear what I have to say. That's the truth. And the people that listen to me or agree with me or whatever don't want to do shit about it. They're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Blah, blah, blah. And I apologize. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to be. Some people complain about the length of my videos. If you don't want to watch a long video, don't fucking watch it. You can see how long the video is going to be before you click on it, right? So that's a you problem. Control yourself and don't watch it. But I would recommend you watch the whole video because I have a lot of important things to say. But regardless. So, yeah, I always have felt since I was a child that it was the world against me. I've always felt that way. And I feel that way more now because I know more things now about the world than I did when I was younger. Back then, I just had a sense of it, right? I just had a feeling. But I didn't really know why I felt that way until I grew up and I started to see how fucked up the world was and how evil everything is and how I'm not really a good person, but compared to the evil that's out there, I'm a saint. Let's just say that. I'm a saint. But regardless, and I'm not trying to paint myself in any positive light, because as I've said many times, I'm not a light worker or anything like that. I just like to speak the truth, right? I see how fucked up the world is, and I'm tired of it. And I don't want to live in a world like that. I've chosen to not want to do that, right? So I do everything I can in my life, which makes it difficult for me to stay away from this world and not participate in the garbage that I see. That includes politics or anything else, right? I don't want to be part of this society. I don't want to be contributing to the nonsense. So, again, back to me creating this channel. I made this channel because I wanted to wake people up to see if there were other people like me that wanted to do the same thing. And again, I'm not trying to start a cult or a group, but if people just woke up to what I was saying and said, hey, he's onto something here. He's speaking the truth. What he's saying is what it is. Then maybe they'll try to make changes in their own personal life that'll have some kind of ripple effect where, it changes society as a whole. That's my goal. That's the truth. I'm not hiding anything. That's my agenda, right? My agenda is to reach every person that watches me, and hopefully I change your mind in some manner where you say, hey, this world's really fucked up. I want to do something about it. I want to change it. So let me go and make changes and make a difference, right? Do the right thing. Whatever you may think the right thing is. And I have a belief that most people know what the right thing is. Whether they want to do the right thing or not, that's their own personal choice, right? But that doesn't mean they don't know what is good and what is bad. Most people know. There is a good and there is an evil. Whether, some people say, oh, we shouldn't look at it in duality. We shouldn't say there's good and bad. There is. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't care about all this new age bullshit where, oh, there's no good, there's no evil. It's just a perception. No, there is. I promise you. If somebody does something to you that you don't like, you're going to think that person is evil. Period. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about there's no good and there's no evil. There is. But long story short, I think that for the most part, what I know to be good and evil, most people would agree with me. And I'm gonna say this again. I have to emphasize because I don't want people to think that I'm some kind of like painting myself as some kind of righteous person. I do a lot of things that I would consider are wrong by my own standards. I'm not a Bible thumper. I don't live by the 10 Commandments. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I do everything right. I know I make mistakes, but the whole point is try to learn from the mistakes and to fix the mistakes as best as you can. And this is going to sound really, I don't know what the right word is. Maybe egocentric. I don't know what the right word is for this, but it's going to sound like I'm going to make myself out to be the victim, right? And I don't want to put it in that light, but the truth is a lot of times, a lot of conflicts that I have with people, it's their own doing. And when I do something wrong to them, they look at me as the bad person. And I always tell them the same thing. I say, if you think I'm bad, that means you're a bad person because I'm reflecting to you the energy you're giving back to me. That's what I do with anyone. If you're good to me, I'll be good to you. If you're fucked up to me, I'm going to be even more fucked up to you. And the reason why I'm more fucked up is because I don't want you to give me that energy ever again. I want you to learn not to fuck with me. That's why I do that. So a lot of people that I've had problems, even people that watch this YouTube channel, I've had problems with, they're like, damn, why do you go so hard? Why are you so over the top with because I want you to learn. Jesus was the same fucking way. And I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but Jesus was like that too. He wanted people to learn, so he was harsh. He didn't sugarcoat shit. He didn't try to pat you on the head when you fucked up. He told you straight up you were a fucking idiot. That's how he was. And guess what? I'm the same fucking way. Because that's what works. And this is the way I see it. If you can't learn from me being that way to you, then kick rocks and get the fuck out of my face. That's the way I feel about it. But anyways, let me talk a little bit about Kim Goguen. I've had people say, oh, how do you know that what she's saying the truth? And I haven't followed Kim Goguen in a long time. I haven't watched any of her material. The last few videos I made about her were some nonsense that people were talking shit about her and saying that, she had a bad side, a dark side, whatever. It was some dumb drama bullshit that I don't give a fuck about. But regardless, let me tell you how I started to think that Kim was legitimate, okay? For those of you that watch me for Kim exclusively, this is for you. And if you don't watch me just for her, just listen to what I have to say. So long story short, when I see that someone else aligns with my views, and I've never talked to this person, and I don't know who they are, I've never met them, yet they see the same shit that I see, I really put a lot of stock into that. And it's not just that she saw the same things I saw, but she elaborated on it to a degree that I had no inside information as she claims to have, right? So I'll put it to you like this. When she says, like what I said in the beginning of this video, where I said Donald Trump is full of shit or whatever. I don't know if I finished that thought, but let me finish that thought now, right? Donald Trump is somebody that people really believe in this guy, right? They think he's legitimate. And I saw how he was fooling a lot of people, and to this day he's still fooling people. People really believe in this motherfucker. I think he's funny as fuck. I think he's hilarious. But that's it. I don't take him serious. But a lot of people do. That's the world that I live in. So I have to talk to these people. I have to see these people everywhere, whether it's online or in person. I'm like, wow, these people really exist. And it's not just Trump. But if they don't believe in Trump, they believe in somebody else. And sorry to say, but it's the same thing with Kim Goguen. People believe in Kim Goguen. Believe in who you want to believe. I might dare even say people believe in me. Even though I've told people many times, I'm nobody's savior. I'm nobody's hero. That's not my role. My role is just to tell you guys what the truth is, and you do what you want with it. You save yourself. And that's another thing that me and Kim are 100% in sync on. She says the same thing. As far as I've known, she's always said, hey, I'm not your savior. Save yourself. I'm just showing you what's going on. So, again, back to the whole Trump thing. When I see that somebody like Trump is full of shit, and then I see somebody like Kim Goguen who fills in the dots and says, this is why he's full of shit. This is the shit he's doing behind the scenes. I'm like, oh, this shit makes perfect sense. Because I already felt this way before I even ran into what she was saying. I already knew that Trump was full of shit. I didn't have all the details like she did. I just had a hunch, right? Just like I said, when I was a child, I felt that it was me against the world. Well, I had a hunch about Trump. I was like, this dude is full of shit. I call it a sixth sense, right? And she filled in the dots. So I was like, okay. And it wasn't just Trump, but it was a whole bunch of other shit. And I was like, okay, whether she's telling the truth or not, this makes the most sense out of anything I've heard. And that's how I do shit. I go to the highest degree that I can in terms of knowledge that's available to me on this planet. And I combine it with my senses and I say, what makes the most sense out of everything I've heard? And she makes a lot of sense, more than a lot of people. And again, I haven't watched her in a long time, so I'm not talking about anything recent in the last probably year or so. I don't know what she said in the last year or so. Really don't. But when I was watching her, I was like, oh, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. And everything she was saying made sense. So I looked at the world. I was like, yeah, this is fucked up. And then Kim was like, this is why it's fucked up. And I was like, oh, fuck. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Do you understand? And until I have a better view of it, it's hard for me to contradict her or say that she's lying about something. But I see a lot of people say, oh, she's lying. She's full of shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fine. Explain to me how she's lying. Tell me what she's lying about. Prove to me she's lying, because people say, oh, she can't prove this. And I'm like, well, you can't prove she's lying. Which one is it? Like, who am I supposed to believe? Somebody that is legitimately in sync with me on 90% of the things she says, or some random person that just came out of nowhere and started talking shit on my channel and said, oh, you shouldn't believe Kim, she's a liar. And then I asked the person for proof or evidence and say, hey, show me how she's lying, prove it to me, and then I'll look into it. And every time it's always some nonsense garbage. So I said, okay, it's clear here that if Kim is lying, these people are not the ones that are going to prove her wrong. None of these people are. It's always some idiot, right? And I got tired of listening to the idiots. So I got so tired of it. And there's so many. You guys have no idea how many people have come to me with bullshit about Kim. You have no idea. And I'm like, wow, I am so tired of hearing this. I got to a point where I was like, all right, anytime somebody says anything, like I had basically categories of the Kim hate, right? Like this person says this about Kim, this person says this about Kim. There were like categories of things that people would say about Kim, how she was fake, phony, whatever. And then I was like, all right, if I hear this comment, I already know it's bullshit. So I would see somebody say this thing, and I was like, all right, you're gone. I don't even have to give you a second thought of what you're going to say, because I already know it's bullshit. I don't even need to hear the rest of it. Just the first sentence, I was like, yeah, I already know you're full of shit. That's how easy, because that's how many people came to me with nonsense. And I did initially, right, when people were coming to me with it, I was doing my research, and I was trying to figure out if it was true or not. And every time I did, it would always come back to, it seemed Kim was telling the truth more than whatever this, let me say it in a better way. Whatever they presented to me as evidence or proof against Kim was complete garbage, bullshit, nonsense. So I was like, well, I'm not going to believe this because I know it's bullshit. So obviously, if Kim is lying, this isn't the proof. This isn't the thing. And the things that mattered to me the most, I know she was speaking the truth about when it came to supernatural things, because I've dealt with them myself. And I've said that countless times on many videos. But anyways, I'm not going to keep talking on this video because I wanted it to be basically, I'm coming back. I'm making videos again. I'm talking about stuff. You know, I got to get back in the groove. I got to I got to really see what I want to do, right? Like right now, what I want to do is make reaction content, because I want to respond directly to people that are claiming to speak the truth. And I want to show you guys how they're full of shit. And a lot of these fucking people, I swear, they have so many followers, so many viewers, so many, and it's going to look bad for me in terms of people are going to think that I'm an asshole, or they're going to think, and it is what it is. People already think that, but they're going to be like, damn, man, why are you going after this guy? Why are you attacking this guy? And I'm like, because he's lying to you. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you think the guy is a good guy or not. I care about the truth. And you know, I've had people say, well, why don't you talk about Biden as much as you talk about Trump? And I'm like, because everybody knows Biden is full of shit. You don't need me to prove that to you, do you? Do you need me to prove to you that Biden is full of shit? Because if I have to prove that to you, you're already a lost cause. There's nothing I could do to help you. You should be able to see that with your own eyes. You don't need somebody to tell you that. So, but then there's people like Trump who has a shitload, way more people full than Biden does. It's not even close. And that's the problem. Because people think Trump is legitimate. And that's the way the game is set up. They have to have the good and the bad, right? That's the whole game. You have to have somebody that represents the good side, and you have to have somebody that represents the bad side. Because if you can't have it all one way or the other, because then the game is not going to be fun for the ones that are controlling the world. And that's another thing people miss, is that this is all a game being played by people that are way beyond your scope of imagination. And I'm not talking, most of the people that watch me understand what I'm saying. But there will be a few people that will come by and they'll be like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. There are people in control of this world. Not even people, demons, aliens, whatever you want to call them. They're playing a game with humanity. And until you realize that they're playing a game with you, you're not going to understand that they're controlling both sides. They're controlling the good side and the bad side. That's the game that they're playing. Do you understand? That's what's happening. And until you see that, you're going to be fooled. You're going to believe that somebody like Trump is legitimate, or even if you believe in Biden, whoever you believe in, those people will fool you, right? And again, somebody like Kim, who to me, as far as I can tell, she's not really on anyone's side. And she said things that I don't agree with, and I've talked about it. But she seems to be the most legitimate because she's not taking a side. She's like me in a way, right? Where she's just speaking the truth that she knows. And she's like, do what you want with it, right? This is what I know is the truth. This is the experiences I've had. This is the shit I'm dealing with. Take it or leave it, right? That's how she is. And I like that because that's more legit to me than somebody like Trump, who is pretending, and everyone knows he's full of shit. He has these trials and all this nonsense going on with him, like he's such a victim. But in reality, he's just playing his part. He's being told what to do. He's being told what to say. Same thing with Biden. Biden is just an obvious example because, I mean, people even say he's controlled by the deep state. This is like common knowledge now. This used to be secret taboo knowledge, but Everyone sees he's controlled by the deep state. He has handlers. These words, these taboo words, handlers, deep state. Not everyone knows this shit. This is like common knowledge. But Trump, people think, oh, he's the real deal. No. Trump is the one that's really fooling people. He's the real evil, to be honest. But he's presenting himself as a good guy because that's the role he was given. But anyways, I've said enough for this video. Think you guys get the point. If you like, comment, subscribe. Consider donating or subscribing to my Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. Send the link in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.